When it comes to Destiny, one of the best things you can learn early on is movement. If you can master your character's movement, you have a leg up on the competition. Each character class has its own specific movement. For Hunters, you have the jump mechanic. For Warlocks, you have the glide mechanic. And for Titans, you have the burst mechanic. In a recent video, I covered some of the advanced Hunter movements and how you could use those and take your movement to another level. If you missed out on that video, I'll leave a link down below in the description and on the pinned comment in the comments section. But today, we aren't here for Hunters or Warlocks. Today, we're going to be talking about Titans. In today's video, we're going to be covering the Titan movement. Yes, these punchy boys can be very deadly when you get up close and personal, but if you incorporate some of the movements you learn in this video, you can go from moving around the map like a giant refrigerator to moving around the map like a graceful giant refrigerator, because who are we kidding? Titans are pretty thick. But before we get into the Titan movement guide, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by watching the entire video and sharing it with your friends. Both are free ways to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to click that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Also, one more thing, with every mastery video, we've been shooting for a like goal and completely smashing that goal every time. So in this video, let's shoot for 500 likes in the first 24 hours. If we do that, if we can hit the 500 likes, I will keep this series going by uploading the Master Warlock movement video next. So click that thumbs up now, and let's get into the Titan movement guide. Before we get into any of the movement tactics, we need to understand how Titans move and how to get the most out of their movement. I'll keep this section simple. Titans are best when they are grounded. Now let me explain what I mean by that. If you are a Titan and you want to have the best movement in the game, you need to stay low to the ground. Again, I'm going to repeat that. You need to stay low to the ground. Get used to that phrase. You're going to hear that in this entire video. Unlike Warlocks and Hunters, Titans do not have a dodge ability. For starters, which burst will we be using if you want to go fast? To get the most out of your movement, I can only suggest the strafe burst, which is going to give you an angled burst, which is going to help you with your limited lateral movement. Sure, if you're utilizing something like the mountaintop, you want to use another burst to get super high up in the air, something that's going to have an upwards burst. But if you are utilizing anything like basic weapons, hand cannons, auto rifles, anything like that, you want to stay low to the ground and use strafe burst. One thing I can't emphasize enough, you never want to be caught in the air. A Titan up in the air is like a sitting duck. You're gonna die. Now, how do we get the most out of strafe burst? What you're gonna want to do is activate your basic jump. Once you notice your character dropping back to the ground, this is when you want to activate your initial burst, which is going to allow you to move in a forward motion at an accelerated speed. After a few seconds, you're going to want to activate your burst once again. This is going to cause you to keep your momentum and keep moving forward. Once you land, you're going to want to repeat this process. You're going to want to repeat this process as many times as you need to move around the map quickly. If done properly, you'll notice your Titan is moving at a pretty quick speed. Again, with the demonstration in the background, as you can tell, I first jump. I use my basic jump. No burst is included in this jump. As soon as I feel like my feet are about to touch the ground, I then activate strafe burst. As you can tell, I am now propelled in a forward motion by using strafe burst. Also, I do want to add, if you're not a fan of the strafe burst technique, I will be leaving a link to a video from Sarah Diaz, and he shows you how to use the catapult lift along with the scroll wheel. It's a really good video, and I highly recommend you watch both videos, especially for anyone trying to improve as a Titan. If you haven't subscribed to Sarah Diaz, then you might want to consider subscribing to him, as he usually posts live gameplays and breakdowns on his channel. The link to that video of the Titan movement will be in the description and on the pinned comment in the comment section below. Now with the basic burst out of the way, a few things to keep in mind. Since your jump height is tied to your mobility, having lower mobility will allow you to use your jump and burst down much quicker, since you won't be getting as high off the ground. Hence why a lot of Titans don't have high mobility armor. Unlike Hunters, which use their mobility for their class ability, Titans do not. Another thing to consider is Titans have poor lateral movement. They're great at straight line movement, but when it comes to moving side to side, this is where you need to put a little English on it. To help with your limited movement, I would suggest to use more small jumps and burst when you're moving from one fight to another fight. This is going to allow you to use your strafe burst to change direction and strafe burst down. Again, if you can see the footage in the background, the demonstration, it looks like I'm moving around like a hunter. Yes, guys, it looks like I'm a hunter. I'm moving around like a hunter, but yes, I am a Titan. And the reason for that is because I'm using small bounces. I'm utilizing my strafe jump, my strafe burst, and jumping around the map, bursting one section, cutting it down, jump to another section. And It makes it look like I am a hunter, but I am not. Small bursts are great for that limited Titan lateral movement. Now, one tactic I like to use a lot is going to be the slide ability to change directions. Let me demonstrate. Just because you have all your speed going in one direction doesn't mean you can't stop at a moment and readjust. That's what this trick does. It allows you to change directions when you slide to counter your forward momentum. Again, in the demonstration in the background, you see I am going full speed, straight lining forward, but if I need to change direction, maybe I see a bad engagement, maybe I see multiple people, maybe I popped out of cover and I need to get back into cover. I use my slide. As soon as I'm in the air for my next burst, I turn, I whip a 180, my camera angle, and I slide down. By doing so, I'm able to slide back behind cover, or overall slide into another engagement, or again, slide away from an engagement I'm just getting into. That's what I like to consider and call the slide ability. You're sliding to negate your forward momentum of your burst. Again, guys, this is a really good trick. A lot of Titans don't use it very often. Top tier players use it all the time, and it's sick. Just look at it. You're able to slide and change your direction, your forward momentum in an instant. You can kill your speed and go a different direction and survive engagements. Before I go any further into any more, movement guides, any tactics like that, I do want to cover some exotics. When it comes to exotics and movement, each class has specific exotics which boost movement. For hunters, there are exotics such as Stompies, Dragon Shadow, and the Frosties. For warlocks, you have Transversus Steps and Astrosight Verse. And last but not least, for Titans, you're going to have stuff like the Dune Marchers, Antaeus Wards, and Peacekeepers. Are those the only exotics you should be using? Of course not, but I found these to be the best exotics when it comes to improving your movement in game. For those who are not familiar with some of these exotics, the reason I am suggesting these exotics are due to the perks they offer. For the Dune Marchers, which is one of my personal favorite Titan exotics, this exotic improves your sprint speed, which I've said in the past that the faster you are moving, the further your slide distance will be, thus making Dune Marchers a top tier pick for engaging and disengaging targets. When it comes to the Antaeus Wards, Reflective Vents is the exotic perk. Improves slide. Sliding reflects incoming projectiles. Reflecting projectiles grant super energy. The key phrase in that perk, guys, improve slide. Yes, the Antaeus Wards are great for those looking to improve your movement because, again, just like the Dune Marchers, you want an improved slide because, yes, Titans need to stay low to the ground, sliding and small burst. Keep that in mind, all right? Last but not least, we have one outlier exotic that improves your movement, but is limited to SMGs. That is going to be the Peacekeepers with Mecha Holster, which reads reload stowed SMGs and allows you to ready them instantly. Improves your handling with SMGs and your movement while wielding one. That key phrase right there. It improves your handling with SMGs and your movement while wielding one. So don't sleep on the Peacekeeper. Now, moving away from exotics, a good Titan who understands movement knows how to use their Barricade properly and effectively. This section is how you can use your Barricade to help you with your movement and outplay your opponents. For starters, I see a lot of brand new Titans in Crucible and they don't understand that the Barricade cooldown is tied to your resilience. A lot of people see it as, oh, it's my mobility because maybe they're coming from hunters or they used to be warlocks. But no, guys, your Titan Barricade is tied to your resilience. The higher your resilience is, the faster your Barricade will charge. Next, moving on to which Barricade to use. I still see Titans to this day utilizing the wrong Barricade. Let's get one thing clear. If you want to get the most benefit from your Barricade, you need to be utilizing the top option, which is Towering Barricade. Now, we will be talking about why Rally Barricade is the superior Barricade to be utilizing. I will be demonstrating some of the tactics you need to use. The one thing about the Barricade is probably one of the most annoying class abilities to use due to its deploy time. But after practice and practice, you will get the deploy time down. And yes, guys, the Rally Barricade is one of the abilities that has the most functionality to it. It can be used offensively, defensively. You can block doors off with it. You can even third-person character peek with it when you activate the Barricade. I know some of you out there are probably wondering, well, Brave, what does the Barricade do for my movement? How does a Barricade correlate with our movement? For starters, remember where I said that Titans need to stay low to the ground? Well, if you're floating around like a fairy, you are already hindering your ability to use your class ability. This is why being low to the ground isn't only beneficial to your movement and your speed, but when the situation calls for it, you now have a barricade ready to go because you can deploy at any time while you're sliding on the ground rather than being up in the air and you cannot deploy your barricade. Now for hunters, when I talk about movement and speed, everyone thinks jumping around, sliding around, which is true for hunters. For warlocks, it's the other way around, getting up in the air, gliding, dodging, blinking, whatever it may be. But for titans, your movement isn't just top speed and your side to side jumping. It's on how you approach the next fight. When it comes to movement, your wall is a great help as a way to extend your cover. Being able to extend your cover and peek your enemy is a great tactic and something that shouldn't be discarded from your tricky bag. Being able to pop your wall and extend your cover. As you can tell in the demonstration in the background, I'm activating my wall and now I can peek even further out if I need to see what engagements are in front of me or engage my target. On the topic of utilizing your wall as an extension, one tactic that I don't see used very often is sealing off corridors, allowing you to safely engage or capture a zone. This is a great tactic that allows you to hyper focus in certain directions, and if anyone decides to engage you, well, they'll either have to inflict damage on themselves by running through your barricade or waste ammunition to destroy your barricade. Again, you can see it in the background. If I seal this wall right here, this little opening here, an enemy cannot walk through there. This gives me the ability to hyper focus in front of me or engage another target. Now, if I see red on my radar, they're pushing in, now I know they either wasted ammunition to break my barricade or they're gonna push through my barricade and inflict damage upon themselves, thus making the barricade one of the top tier options to be utilizing. This is why you never want to be utilizing the small barricade. This is why you want to utilize the rally barricade. Now, moving on to one of my favorite tactics to use when it comes to the barricade. One thing players don't understand is if you pop your wall, you aren't locked in the direction you're looking. Something I recommend is when you activate your wall, at the same time, shift your camera angle to where your wall is at your back. This is a great option for those players sliding in and trying to block off a wall or block off an enemy and an attempt to isolate another enemy. So how is this performed? When you activate your wall, you want to move your camera to the direction you want to face. Again, in a demonstration, I'm activating my wall and at the same time I'm changing my camera angle. I am turning a complete 180, knowing that my back is covered. I now have cover at my 6 and I can engage in front of me safely. Now, this next tip is going to be very tricky to understand or demonstrate. Have you ever slid into a group of enemies? Multiple enemies, you want to punch them to death. Sure, I know I have. As a Titan, one of the best tactics you can utilize is when you slide into your enemy and you secure that first kill, you activate your barricade. When you activate your barricade, you now have cover between you and your other enemies, thus giving you the advantage because you will not be taking damage. So if your enemy is in front of you, if they want to clean you up, say you took some damage and you're absolute, they want to clean you up, they now have to jump over your barricade or they need to slide through your barricade, making them absolute and easy to be cleaned up. Another thing you can utilize your barricade is if you're there by a wall, you can activate your barricade, sealing you into that wall. Meaning the only way to engage you is if they either throw a grenade overhead, which can be done, but you can avoid it by running out of there, or if they don't engage you and they just keep looking at you, it now has given you ample time to recover. This is one of my favorite things to do is when I'm up against the wall, multiple enemies, or at least I know enemies are gonna engage me. Again, you can see it in a demonstration. I seal myself into that wall. By doing so, I give myself ample time to recover. Now, moving away from barricades and moving into the final portion of the video, these are gonna be random tips and tricks for you Titans out there still looking to excel your movement. One thing I do recommend is if you're a Titan looking to improve your movement, try to learn how to continuously slide. I did it when I was on controller, guys. When I was on PS4 and Xbox, I would always slide. As a Titan, utilizing something like the Dune Marchers and Antaeus Wards, continuously sliding is a great tactic. And why is that? Because it makes you a smaller target to hit. By allowing yourself to become a smaller target by continuously sliding, you now have the advantage when engaging your enemies. If I engage someone and I slide into them, I have made myself small to the ground. Now they have to look down to find me and engage me. Rather than me just run at them like a Titan, they can just shoot me straight up and not have to worry about trying to locate me. Now, still on the topic of random tips, how many times have you had a hunter jump up and you lose track of them? I know I have. In moments like this, you need to learn how to backpedal. Earlier in the video, we talked about the proper burst and how to build speed. Well, we're going to take the same concept but put it in reverse. When you need to get out of a situation, the last thing you want to do is turn around and run away, giving your enemy your back. You will be done. That's an easy cleanup for them. You never want to give them your back. But if you learn how to backpedal, which looks like this, you now have the advantage of looking up and engaging still. They won't expect it. Learn how to burst backwards, just like we did on the strafe burst forward. Do that backwards. Sure, it's not as fast, but you will be able to stay in the fight. By bursting backwards like this, backpedaling, you can utilize your gnawing hunger, your spare rations, your dire promise, and still engage that hunter who jumped overhead. Sometimes learning a new class like Titans can be difficult, can be tough, can be annoying, but I believe with practice, anyone can take their one-dimensional punchy boys to another level. But hey, maybe you're not a fan of the Titan class and you want to learn more advanced hunter movements. If so, I made a video on advanced hunter movements, which will be in the description and on the end screen. Also, if you are a fan of this mastery series, I compiled all mastery videos into one playlist, which can be found on screen as well. When more mastery videos get uploaded, just like this video, that playlist will expand. So if you have friends starting Destiny or friends looking to improve in Destiny, you might want to send them the mastery playlist. And with that, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy content like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button for more, as it is a free way to support the channel. If you found this to be the type of Destiny content you like to see, then do me a huge favor and leave a like, because that's a great way to let me know to bring more content like this to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, Instagram, and all that good stuff. Links down in the description. With that, I'm out.